In the previous video, we created our home tech organization. And in this video, we're going to look at how we can overbrand the LearnDash platform to match the home tech branding so that any users within that organization would see their interface with a familiar look and feel of the home tech brand. So firstly, let's have a look at what the template looks like normally. So we're using the Astra theme. This functionality will work with most compatible themes, so they need to use the WordPress custom logo feature, which you find in a lot of themes, Astra being one of them. And we know that Astra is a popular theme amongst LearnDash users, and it's even recommended by them when they're in some of their setup guides. So we've got Astra theme set up here with one of their pre-made templates, which is for a yoga site. And we can see in the top left, we have this Jamie and Annie nutrition. We're imagining that this is the default setup for the page. So this is your branding here. But what we want is for people within certain organizations that you've set up to have their own company's branding here. So if you remember, one of the organizations that we had set up previously is called Discover. I'm going to log in a separate window here as a member of this Discover group. And you can see that we're able to change things like the logo and make that appear here, as well as certain bits of the interface. And what we've done here is made the buttons pink, for example. And we have a lot of customization options here for the overbranding for specific organizations. So let's set up something similar for the users of home tech. So what I'm going to do is go back to the WordPress dashboard whilst logged in as an admin, back into Organization Toolkit and then Organizations. And what I'm going to do is click on this home tech organization that we created in the previous video. In the previous video, we uploaded the logo for home tech. But if we scroll down here, we'll see that you can also add something called custom CSS. And this will be more familiar to anyone who works in web design or web development. This is the type of code that they use to design websites. So anything related to things like colors, fonts, font sizes, things like that are generally controlled using this CSS. And what this allows you to do is customize that for any given organization. You can insert your own code that would only be applied to users within that organization. And this gives a huge amount of flexibility for customizing the theme for members of certain organizations. We'll come back onto that and show you an example of that shortly. But the last thing at the bottom here is the option to show or hide the branding. And there's a few options here. So when you first create an organization, it says it will hide the organization branding. And what that means is that your normal company branding would appear and not the organization's branding. And this might be the case, this might be how you want it. You might want users from these organizations to see your branding rather than the company's own branding. But you can also activate it so that you can show it everywhere to any, once someone's logged in or on any registration forms, they would see the home tech branding. You could show it only on home tech registration forms, and registration forms are something that we'll look at in another video. Or you can show it only to people when they log in and not on the registration forms. So once they create their account and log in as a home tech user, they would see the home tech branding or the option to hide it entirely. So what I'm going to do is click Show Everywhere and then click Update. And as a demonstration, I've logged in a separate window here as someone within this home tech organization. And we can see here that we're now seeing the home tech logo in the top left. So what if we want to customize some of the other bits, like, as I mentioned, the CSS there? What I'm going to do here is paste in an example bit of code that you might use. And what this is doing, without getting too technical, is changing the background color of the header bar, which at the moment is white. And I'm going to change it to a light gray there. I'm going to click Update. And if I was to refresh this page now, we can see that the header has now changed from white to a gray. And equally, you could have any color and match that to an organization's brand. And coming back onto here where we were talking about showing and hiding it, this is now set to show everywhere. If I wanted to set that back to hide, and then click Update, if I was to refresh this page as this user, it goes back to the normal default branding. So you've got full control over whether or not the organization's branding is shown. The last thing I'll quickly show is that if I switch the overbranding back on, as a learner, if I go right down into courses, for example, and go into a course, the overbranding, as in the logo, carries right through into the LearnDash course interface. So this is the focus layout for courses, and you can see that the logo has been carried through to this page. So what we've done there is created some overbranding for the home tech organization, and in the next video we'll look at importing some users into this organization and assigning some groups to it.